When water temperatures climb through the dog days of summer, many anglers are surprised at how many walleye will still remain shallow in weeds. Shallow weed walleye patterns are often overlooked and often produce big fish. On today's show, we travel to the glacial lakes region of northeastern South Dakota, where anglers can often find shallow walleyes all summer.
Nice walleye, big walleye.
Here we go.
Big fish, Doug. Nice way to start out the day, huh?
There we go. Been waiting for him.
Yeah, this is a nice fish. Nice fish. All right. Water's got some good visibility.
And just enough flex to help us out a little bit, but boy, we can see down about 5 feet there.
Yep. There we go. All right. Look at the girth on this walleye. Boy, look at that. Isn't that just a gorgeous fish?
A gorgeous fish. Look at that.
Oh, isn't that fish just beautiful? You know, and the neat thing about this is, middle of the day, and we're fishing. You can just see the pencil reeds right in front of us here, but we're catching these fish in surprisingly shallow water. And the neat thing about where we're at, we're in northeastern South Dakota, and within 100 miles of me, there's probably 500 lakes that have walleyes in them. I might be exaggerating somewhat, but there is a lot of water. But you know, these patterns hold true. And basically, you can go out on the deeper structure right now. There's flooded row beds. You can go out on the outside edge of the weed line in that, say, 10 to 14 foot of water and catch all kinds of fish for eating. But another pattern develops for bigger fish, and that's often up shallow, casting up in the weeds. And that's what we're doing here. We're just casting these hornets up on the edge of these cattails, the edges of the pencil reeds, and the edges of these weed beds. And sometimes you have to work harder for the fish. You'll catch as many fish, but they're big fish.
Well, it seems like, you know, if you get into these weeds, you're going to get better quality. The guys that want the quantity, want to get their limit, you know, they're going to work out with some bottom bouncers and some crawlers out in some of this little bit deeper water. But up here, the shallows is where the quality is, and might not get as many, but we're going to really get some nice ones here.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull us back out here. And right before that fish bit, had another one follow it too, so there's at least a few in here. You know, casting up shallow to catch these walleyes in a lot of these Dakota lakes in northeastern South Dakota, that's pretty common, pretty typical. But I think what happens in so many cases is that people start out the year fishing shallow. They'll start out in May during that prime time, and they'll be throwing crankbaits, throwing swim baits up under these shallow weeds. Then as that water warms up and these weeds grow up, these locations become much more difficult to fish. And as the summer progresses, you just have to do your homework a little bit more and just spend some time to figure out the locations, because what you'll find is that even though the weeds have come up, the fishermen have left these locations for the most part, but the fish haven't. And in so many cases is where we're finding our bigger fish, but you just have to give it due diligence. When these weeds come up, these locations are so much more difficult to fish, so you just have to spend the time to figure out what angle to throw the bait, what bait to throw to clip the edge. What are some open spots and open locations where the weeds haven't come up? You just have to spend the time. It just takes a little bit more time, but the results are definitely worth your while.
Prime locations on these shallow prairie lakes include shorelines and bars that have fairly quick access to at least 8 feet of water. During the middle of the day, focus on shadows or shade created by good stands of weeds. As the weeds increase in height, how and where the fish set up will constantly change. In some cases, weeds can actually grow 4 to 6 inches in a few days, so these areas have to be relearned through the course of the summer.
There's a fish. Nice walleye. Fish hit about halfway back to the boat.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, decent fish.
Good, good, good.
Not a bad fish at all. Whoa, look at that. Don't you love that, how they
We've
fight?
been working for him today, but boy, what a gorgeous fish coming in here.
Oh yeah.
It's nice when you can see him down about 5 feet down like that.
There,
Oh, there
nice. Let's show this fish off here. boy, girth on these fish. You can
Shortage of feed around here. Yeah.
You can see down the water. There's just all kinds of minnows and forage in the shallow water for these fish to eat. But yeah, just
oh, look at the belly on that one.
Yeah, gorgeous color on these fish. Yeah, that's a beautiful fish. We'll get that fish in the water there. There. Whoa. Took off with the turbos on.
Just got to keep working these weeds.
Yep.
Eventually they pull out of there.
Yeah, that's another nice fish.
Clean it off a few times, and eventually we got something to show for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just been sticking with that same hornet.
Well, it's getting the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too far from where that first fish came. Got him. Another walleye, Doug.
Great, I'll get the net.
All right.
At least I'm good for something here, maybe.
Right up by that stump there.
Yeah, that's about where I had that bite here a little while ago.
They have some spunk, don't they?
Sharing it.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, this would be more about the type of fish you'd want to eat here.
Yeah, what do we got? About a 17, 18 incher there?
Yeah.
Well, you hit that hornet again, huh?
Yep, I got pliers right back there if you can hand those to me.
You betcha.
There we go. Yeah. Nice eater fish there. Nice dark back on them. Imagine from being up in that shallow water. There.
Oh, there we go now.
Get this hornet out of the net here. Yeah.
You know, when you got pure sun like this and this much sunlight penetration, it's going to be a challenge here, but hopefully towards the evening they'll get more aggressive again.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised how clear this water is for, you know, a lot of these lakes really green up in the summertime. This water's pretty clear, so I imagine this bite's only going to get better as the day progresses. But one thing I've noticed is these fish are just holding tight to the edge of the weeds, and I've been lure hits the water, just give it a really sharp pop to get that lure down as deep as you can, as fast as you can. And those fish are holding tight like that. That's usually the ticket, is getting that lure to dive fast. And
I don't know if the camera can pick up on that, but an amazing amount of small minnows in here right now.
Yeah.
Looks like a new crop of,
like stars in the sky
Yeah,
when you look out in the water,
loaded
the
in
amount
here,
of
so-
minnows. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
so they got everything they need right here. The
Yep.
cover and
Now they just
plenty
need
of
us
food.
to catch them.
well, I don't know if they want that though. That's the problem.
You know, if we're just looking for fish, this type of situation, crankbaits are tough to beat. Then also just a soft plastic swim paddle tail, swim jig can be really good as well. But the biggest thing I think when you're working these weeds is just use braided line. I'm just using 10-pound bionic braid, but when that lure hits the water, especially when you're trying to get down to the edge of that weed bed, just pop that rod tip hard and just get that lure just to slash through those weeds and just rip it down in there. And typically you're gonna get fouled up a lot, and that's just part of it. And every time you pop that rod tip, you can try to work that lure free. But nice thing about these hornets is they put off so much vibration, so much flash, that they'll pull the fish up out of those weeds in a lot of cases, or pull them out. And that's the thing you'll see as the sun gets high. These fish will typically be tougher a lot of times, so they'll be pushed up into weeds that are just hard to get to. But then you'll get little windows where the fish move out of the weeds, or you'll get either some wind or some cloud cover, sun getting lower. There'll be just things that happen through the day where we should get some windows where these fish will get a little easier. Better fish, Doug?
Yeah, about the same. Maybe it's a little smaller yet. A little smaller. Something for the table.
There we go. Here's a fish. Good fish, Doug.
Yeah, there we go. I'll get the net.
Yeah,
There we
that
go.
fish is up there a ways. Boy, look at
Got
that.
a good fight to him anyway.
They do. They do. I switched up to a swim bait here.
Well, that's the first one today on the swim bait.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice
Oh,
quality
yeah.
walleye. Wow. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
He's still on. There we go. Nice, nice. All right.
Another quality fish again.
Yeah. You know, I've often joked that a swim bait is a crankbait's best friend. You can just go through these same areas and just hit a little bit different part of the water column with that bait versus the crank, and they really complement each other. But another gorgeous
Another
fish.
good quality fish.
Boy, what
There you
a
go.
what
Well, keep
walleye
netting them, you
fishing.
keep catching them.
Well,
How's that sound?
I tell you what, I've been on both sides of the fence. You never get cocky when you're catching fish because
Well,
the walleye gods can hear you.
yeah, with the sun, we're lucky to get anything of that quality right now. So
Well, they're biting. So,
there we go.
all right,
Beautiful fish. Time to get to work.
that was a good one.
Well, this is a nicer setup here with the weed line more pronounced and not running into it continuously like we were earlier. So
Yeah.
I think we're in about 9-10 foot of water right here.
You know, right now, I mean, realistically, you look within a 50-mile radius of Webster, South Dakota. That's some of the best walleye fishing in the entire state right now.
Well, you know, we're very fortunate. We have so many choices and so many lakes. And I'll have to say, 10 years ago, people weren't willing to travel over 15 miles from the hub. And now it seems like they will drive 40, 50 miles. A good fishery will get them in gear, you know. And we're unloading off some less than ideal situations, definitely, you know. Lack of docks and lack of facilities, but if the bite's good, boy, by gosh, you're gonna come and try it. So, you know, we had one down here by Garden City last year, dry lake that days ran close to 100 boats and they didn't have a dock. And that lake ran a success rate. It had to be over 90%, over 80%. It certainly for a couple months there, and sure brought in a lot of people. And we're fortunate. We have lakes that we'll be talking about next year, what we haven't even heard of yet this year. You know, that basically don't have a name or a recognition, and they keep coming. Seems like even in the winter we'll have a new one that nobody has any idea we'll be fishing next year. So, but we have so many choices, so many new ones, and so many good deep ones that have 12 to 20 some foot of water. It's not uncommon to see, like this pond we're on here is what, 24 foot. And it's going to be around here for our lifetime and then some. So we'll be at this for a while. So if you get a chance, come on out.
We're just looking over a little bit different shoreline here now, and you know, every spot that we're going to, we're just kind of encountering different profiles, different shorelines. Here, these weeds are going out a little bit deeper. The last spot we were in, that weed line quit at about 7, 8, 9 feet, and so we had openings and lanes where we could throw cranks in. Now this here's the weeds going out to maybe, out here the weed beds are going out to maybe 10, 12, even 13 feet. And so I switched up to a swim bait here. I'm actually pushing the front of the boat up towards the weeds more and casting along down them, just trying to get that bait to run right along the edge here. But that's one thing you'll find fishing these weed beds is you're gonna just keep encountering different shorelines, different profiles. The height of the weeds is gonna change from day to day, and you just have to keep switching baits and switching angles until you just get a bait that'll get in front of those fish. There we go. Nice walleye.
There we go. I'll get the net.
Nice fish. That's a gorgeous fish there. He came out of those weeds like a bass. Whoa, pay attention here.
He's almost acting like a northern there, isn't he?
Yeah, beautiful fish. Look at that. That fish. That was one of the harder hits I've had today, as far as just an absolute savageness. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Get her out of the net here. Yeah. Fish is growling at us there.
That wasn't much time, and the two on the swim bait's a short order.
Yeah, I think we might be onto something there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll show you what we're doing here. This is just a slurpy jig head. And this here's just an impulse paddle tail on this electric chicken color. And this is one of my favorite colors, but yeah, just a And I'm fishing it just like that crankbait. I'm just dropping it down the edge and I'm just popping it and snapping it back. And you know these sink. You can get to a little bit different water, a little bit deeper water, but the other thing I like about it is it's just one hook, and so it's easier to rip through some of those weeds at times, but still using braided line just like with the crankbaits. And another great option for this area though in South Dakota.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see the weeds we're dealing with right here, and if we can pull them out of that, good luck, and we're doing it, so there you go.
Absolutely. From our base camp in Devils Lake, North Dakota, we travel the whole Midwest looking for the best fishing bites. If you'd like real-time fish reports, find out what bodies of water that we're fishing, just to find the general patterns and techniques that we're using, give us a like on Facebook and hit the road with Jason Mitchell Outdoors. Fish. Got one. Fish is digging. Oh yeah, another nice walleye.
There we go.
Boy, these fish are nice size. Can't get over how
They must
These
only
are
be in the
nice.
front end of the boat this year.
average size fish. Boy, these are beauties. There we go. Thank you, sir. That's another dandy. Kind of the same program as before, just hitting these weed bits. Boy, there.
Hit that swim bait again.
Yeah, just a gorgeous fish. I'll get that fish in the water here. You know, but I tell you what, you get in this country, and then you get up in Devil's Lake where I live, but these natural lakes in the eastern half of the Dakotas and these prairie pothole lakes, they're predominantly shallow, aren't they?
Well, yeah, this one's a little bit deeper than most, but yeah, 20 foot will stop almost all of them. But this one here is about 26. But quite often 12, 14, 15 foot's real common on those.
Yeah, and with that being said, you're basically dealing with a dish bowl more or less.
Yeah,
and so a lot of times the structures around the shoreline or whatever is in the water, there's a lot of flooded road beds or rock piles, things like that. But
yeah, an occasional combine or disc. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of flooded trees and fishing the weed lines this time of year on those.
Yeah, you can't go wrong just picking areas along the shore where you see weeds and you've got good depth coming down, and just hanging the boat out and casting in. Especially if you can see a little bit of wind blowing in here, that will make spots even better. But that'll catch fish anywhere down here, won't it?
Well, I think as evening sets in, it should get just better and better the way it's looking here right now.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this evening too. I think we're getting things narrowed down a little bit.
Before the weeds reach the surface, the window of open water between the weeds and the surface is a prime target, even if this window is only a few feet. And crankbaits like the Salmo Hornet work great for pulling fish up out of the weeds. As the weeds reach the surface, clipping and swimming the edges or pockets with swim baits can be effective. Crankbaits fish faster and send off more vibration, while swim baits can be worked through edges that a crankbait can't reach and can be fished slower. The Glacial Lakes region of South Dakota offers countless shallow lakes that can produce incredible walleye fishing, and these shallow patterns offer exciting angling opportunities for aggressive fish.
Gorgeous fish. Gorgeous fish. Look at that. Oh, isn't that fish just beautiful?
Jason Mitchell Outdoors has been brought to you by Shields, North Dakota Tourism, Yar-craft Boats, Yamaha, Onyx, Sonar Phone, Salmo, Northland Fishing Tackle, and Jason Mitchell Elite Series Rods.
To find out more information on Jason Mitchell Outdoors, make their official webpage one of your favorite pages. Find out upcoming show schedules and air times, along with past shows, article and product reviews at jasonmitchelloutdoors.com. Great information on the outdoors is just one click away.